as we go along. But let me just say hello and welcome. And thank you so much for joining our iEARN Global Educators webinar. We're really excited to have you join us for the next hour or so. And we'd love to hear where you're joining from. So please share in the chat box on the bottom right corner where you're joining us from. And make sure that your message is set to all panelists and attendees so that everyone can see it. So we are here in New York City in the US, and we hope that people will hopefully be joining from all over the world. Okay, next slide, please. So before we jump in, we wanted to just share a few tips for participating in the webinar and making it as enjoyable an experience as possible for everyone. Again, we'd love for you all to use the chat box as much as you'd like to engage with others and ask us questions throughout the webinar. You can also use the Q&A function to ask questions and the raise hand button on the bottom of your screen if you'd like to use your microphone to ask a question or participate. And if your connection is slow, we suggest closing all the other programs you might have open and restarting your computer or connecting directly to your router if you can do that. So just a few tips and we'll move on. So here's a quick overview of what we'll be covering during this webinar. We're going to do some brief introductions of our team, and then we're going to discuss some school and class holiday traditions after we go through some projects, some iEARN projects, which we're spotlighting for you. And these projects are really special in that they focus on holidays, celebrations, and traditions, which is the theme of this webinar. We'll have some more discussion and questions, and then share some upcoming opportunities with you all. So we wanted to introduce our education team at iEARN-USA, and you see all of us here on this slide. Our team is made up of Jennifer Russell, the Director of Education, Rachel Manley, the Professional Development Manager, myself, Nicole Weitzner, the Membership Manager, or Manager of Member Services, and Julia Heitner, the Development and Communications Manager. And some of us are on this webinar tonight, so we look forward to engaging with you all throughout. If anyone would like to pop on now and say hello, feel free. I think Rachel was maybe going to pop on briefly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our monthly educator webinar. As Nicole introduced, my name is Rachel Manley, and I'm the Professional Development Manager at iEARN-USA, and we are excited to share our monthly webinars with you and focus on holiday celebrations this month.
Thank you, Rachel.
Hi, everyone. This is Julia. And I'm also happy to join and welcome. I'm the Development and Communications Manager at iEARN-USA, and I'm so excited to see you all here tonight and looking forward to hearing your conversations and answering any questions you might have.
Thanks, Julia. So we all work, together as a team. But Rachel, Jennifer, and I work directly with our members in terms of supporting you all and your students. So if we're not already in touch with you, please feel free to reach out to any of us with any questions. We'd love to speak with you and help you with your iEARN journeys. Next slide. We'd love to take a quick poll to see who's joining us. So we're going to put some questions up on the screen, and please share with us whatever applies to you, and we'll share the results in just a moment. Okay, let's see here. It looks like we don't have too many answers from people, but we'll share what we have. And if you'd like to maybe share in the chat box a little briefly about yourself, where you're joining from, and who you are, we'd love to hear. So it looks like the person who, or those who did answer, say that they've done iEARN projects in the past and are trying to reconnect. And in terms of their role and position, they're a teacher, trainer, or facilitator. That's excellent. Yeah, we're really excited to have both new members, interested people, and also current members and former members as part of this webinar. So we'd love to hear a little bit from you further along about your experience with iEARN. Thank you. Next slide, please. So for those of you who are new to iEARN, we'd like to share a little about iEARN just briefly with you, so you're familiar with our story. So we'll continue along with the slides. Yeah, so this is actually iEARN's 30th anniversary this year. It was founded in 1988 at the height of the Cold War, when Peter Koppen, an American, thought that connecting classrooms in the former Soviet Union and the US might help increase mutual understanding and peace in the world. So since then, we've grown quite a bit to encompass 140 countries. And as you see, the numbers here, quite a lot of educators and youth engaging in the iEARN network every day. We have more than 100 global projects, and here are a few facts about our projects that we're really proud of and we feel are really unique. So I won't read them all, but you see them here. And just one other thing about our projects on the next slide I'll share, which is kind of a cool fact, but also something we're really proud of, that iEARN has made the commitment to align each of its projects with at least one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, one of these 17 goals. So you can be sure that any iEARN project that you choose to join will have your students working towards any of these goals, maybe several sometimes. So we're going to take one other quick poll to find a little bit more about you before we dive into the projects, to the iEARN projects. So we'd like to ask you who you are, what age level do you teach or support, and what subject areas do you teach or support. So if you could take a moment and quickly share with us, that would be great. Okay, it looks like we have at least one middle school teacher here, or an educator who works with middle school age students who are about 12 to 15 years old. And the subject area that that person teaches, or those people teach and support, are English as a foreign or second language. Awesome. There are many iEARN educators who are ESL or EFL teachers as well. So very cool. And I'm sure you'll all find each other in the network if you haven't already. I see in the chat box Judy sharing. Judy's from Taiwan and has done iEARN in the past and would like to know more about iEARN and the SDG goals. Great. Well, we're going to share about some projects now and some links to those projects that's focused on our theme today. And definitely we encourage you to look in the Collaboration Center to see which SDGs each project is aligned with, because those are listed in each of the project descriptions. And I think there is also a link we can share for you to easily go to each goal and see which projects align with that goal as well. So now we're going to dive into a little bit to take a look at some of these projects that we mentioned, or that focus on our theme today. And our theme is holidays, celebrations, and traditions. So we'll be sharing, again, links in the chat box where you can access each of these projects in the Collaboration Center to find out more about them. And we could have the next slide. The first one we'll look at is My Identity, Your Identity. And in this project, students research and share about some of the things that form their identities as citizens of their countries. So as you can see in the pictures and the project topics listed, there are a variety of topics that students research and share about. And these include holidays, traditional festivals, and celebrations, which they usually do in January. So now is a great time to join if you haven't already joined this project, if that is something that you'd like your class to explore and learn about. Some other projects topics are listed here. And as you can see, depending on the month, students will look at anything from historical buildings to traditional clothes, music and dance, food and drinks, and superstitions. So this is definitely a great project to join at any time and have your students learn about the rich cultures of around the world. And next slide, please. Next, we're going to look at the holiday card exchange. And in this project, classrooms explain their holiday traditions by sending cards to their partners around the world. So this is one of the one iEARN project that is a little different from most of them, in that classes are actually doing or sending a physical object, to each other, rather than having only a virtual exchange, which is really exciting for them. As you can see in the pictures, students are often really excited to receive these packages of cards from their partners' classrooms abroad. And, through this, they really learn about other countries' traditions and holidays, and share about their own. As you can see, there is a specific time frame for this one, and registration has actually closed for 2018 already. But we encourage you to consider this project for next year. And if I could ask if anyone joining us is participating, please do share in the chat box. We'd love to hear what it's been like for you in your class so far. Okay, next slide, please. The next project we're looking at is One Day in the Life. And in this project, students share photographs of their daily lives and with captions that describe them. As you can see, there's a variety of topics that they explore as well. Anything from going to school every day, visiting the market, going on vacation, meal times, and then, of course, holidays, birthdays, and celebrations, which we're focusing on today. So this is a really great project for students to exercise their artistic abilities, get creative with their photography, but, also gain some pride in sharing about their daily lives and learning about, some really interesting things about their peers around the world and what their day-to-day life looks like. Yeah. And as you see, we're sharing those links in the chat box. So definitely, we encourage you to visit these projects in the Collaboration Center to learn more and to take a look at what it might look like for you and your class. There are suggestions on how to go about integrating it into your curriculum and things like that. And then the last thing we're going to look at is learning circles. So that's, if you could go to the next slide, please. And learning circles is a little different. It's not necessarily an iEARN project. It's more an experience for iEARN members. And oftentimes it's a really great way to get started with iEARN. It's basically a highly interactive, project-based partnership amongst a small number of schools. And schools, those participating in learning circles are from all over the world. And here are some of the topics that they, that learning circles does focus on. As you see, places and perspectives is included, and this aligns, or, that's why we're including it in our webinar today, because, when students look at this topic, they're exploring their regional history and culture, and sharing, and government and geography, all those different things, and sharing it with their peers around the world. But there are quite a few other topics that they might you might explore in a learning circle, including Early People Symbols Project, My Hero, many different other topic areas. And I should just note that the next learning circle will start in January, so definitely stay tuned for more details. These will be shared in different communications that you might receive. If you haven't signed up for the iEARN in Action, international newsletter, we encourage you to do that on iEARN.org. If you are a teacher joining or a school from the US, we encourage you to sign up for the iEARN-USA newsletter, and we'll be sharing about these opportunities in those different e-newsletters. So now we are going to move on to some discussion, which is the best part, of course. We are so looking forward to hearing from you and hearing about what you might do with your class and your students. So the first question we'd like to ask you, those of you joining us, is what are some of the significant holidays in your country, and how do you celebrate these holidays? So please let us know if you'd like to share in the chat box or raise your hand, and we could even hand you the mic if you'd like. Okay, I see that Julia wrote, yep, in the chat box that this time of year it's Christmas, Hanukkah, and Thanksgiving for her. So lots of different holidays. Sounds like maybe that's the US. And we'd love to hear if anyone else here has any holidays they want to share about that they might celebrate, and any traditions that they have around those holidays. Okay, I see another comment in the chat box from Judy. My husband is Dutch and we're going to celebrate St. Nicholas today, December 6th. Oh, great. Yeah, we don't actually know. I actually don't really know much about that. Would you like to share a little bit about it if we hand you the microphone? We'd love to hear what you do to celebrate St. Nicholas Day. If you'd like to speak on the microphone, just let us know in the chat box or raise your hand, and we'll hand you the microphone. Oh, got it. Okay, you're not able to talk. No worries. But I see that you did share. Oh, I see Heloisa shared here as well. Okay. Learning and working at the same time, Judy. Yes, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to share a little bit more about St. Nicholas Day in the chat box, we invite you to do that. I see Heloisa wrote in the chat box, as most part of Brazilian people are Catholic, we celebrate Children's Day, the same day of a saint who protects children. It's October 12th. In the schools, we have games and candies for them. Wow, that's really interesting. I did not know about that. And could you share, what is it called in Brazil, that holiday? Is it called Children's Day in Portuguese? And if you'd like to share using the microphone, just let us know. Heloisa, if you'd like to share more, feel free, but if not, that's okay. This is really interesting what you shared here in the chat box. So I think we'll move to the next question now. And that is, what are your school or class holiday traditions? Okay, I see that Judy added here about the last question that St. Nicholas Day is bigger in Holland than Christmas. St. Nicholas will ride the white horse on the street, and Black Pete will throw the candy towards kids as a blessing. Wow, that's fascinating that it's a bigger holiday than Christmas there, because oftentimes Christmas will be the bigger one. And really interesting about how St. Nicholas rides the white horse. A little different than, for example, here in the United States, where he's riding a sleigh. And I don't think we've heard of Black Pete here in the US. So I'm sure that kids here in the US, for example, would be fascinated by hearing from kids there about those traditions. Okay, Heloisa, were you asking to use the microphone? I think we can try to hand that to you.
Oh, yeah. Does it work now?
Yes, we hear you. Perfect.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah. We also have Christmas, New Year's Eve, Easter. But I think what makes you
Are you still there, Heloisa?
yes, I have one coffee.
No worries. We heard a little bit. I think you said you have also Christmas and Easter, but I think you
Yes, yes, we have most of these universal celebrations, but here in Brazil we have this Children's Day. For them, it's very important, and every school it's a holiday, you know. But the week before, they have programs for the children. They have games, they have candies, they play all the time. You know, they have a special week only for it. You know, so
Wow.
I like this because it's Brazilian, yeah.
Yes, yes, it's very unique. I wish we had that here. That's really great that you have a day just to celebrate children.
Yes, I think they would love it too.
Yeah,
Maybe I can share it with the world.
definitely. We encourage you to do that, and it's really interesting hearing about things like this because maybe schools that are participating in these projects could actually start their own new traditions after they learn about those that other peers in other countries are celebrating. So you might start a new tradition here in the U.S. or other places too.
Great, I think it's great.
Yeah, thank you so much, Elisa.
Oh, thank you.
Great. And I guess we have one more question that we'd like to ask you. And so we'll go to the next slide here. And we wanted to ask, has your class learned about any other holidays around the world? And if so, which ones? We can again either hand you the mic or feel free to write in the chat box if your class or students have learned about any other holidays around the world and would like to share. I see Heloisa wrote Halloween. Great. So that's a really popular one, I know, for kids in all over the world to learn about, and some of them to adopt as well in their own countries. And they really love it, you're saying. Yeah. Which part of it do they love the most?
I think I took the risk of having a party at school.
A party at school?
And it was last year. Mm-hmm. And this one group of my school couldn't have the Halloween party, and they almost killed me.
Oh, no.
Teacher, what about Halloween? Oh my God, for only the next year, And even though you teach them St. Patrick or Thanksgiving, Halloween is the best.
Yeah. I don't really know any kids who don't enjoy that. So that's great that you shared that with your students. Yeah. And have you and your students shared any of your holidays with other classes or students in other countries yet?
I am planning to share it. I'm preparing PowerPoints and some presentation to talk about it to our partner.
Yeah. Hopefully, you can do that with iEARN. So that's great. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Very fascinating traditions we're learning about here from all of you. Okay, I think we'll move on to sharing about an exciting upcoming opportunity that you all might want to consider, and a little bit more about for anyone new to iEARN before we go ahead and wrap up the webinar. So if we can go to the next slide. We wanted to share about this really exciting upcoming opportunity. We're starting our spring online course this coming February, and we've just opened up the registration. This course is open to all educators, and it's a really great way to get started with iEARN if you're new to iEARN. So we definitely recommend you take a look at the link that we're sharing here to learn more about it. And I see Rachel just posted in the chat box that Heloisa just took the course. Yeah, that's wonderful, Heloisa. We're so glad that you did that. And if you'd like to share a little bit about your experience in the chat box, or if you want to talk again, we'd love to hear what it was like for you. I know I'm putting you on the spot a lot, so apologies, but there's no better people to hear from than those who've been through it. So we'd love to hear anything you have to share. And there's some details up here on the slide. The course will be taking place from February 25th to April 21st, and registration will be closing on February 5th, so you have a little time. But we really strongly recommend that you take advantage of this special early bird rate we're offering and register by January 10th to get a full 50% off, half off the normal price, which is $400 US dollars. If you register by January 10th, you can register for just $200. So we definitely encourage you to go ahead and sign up if you're ready to do that. There's an additional 25% discount if you sign up with 2 or more teachers from your school. So we hope that many of you and your colleagues will be joining. And we are sharing our email down here if you have any questions specifically about the course. I should also just mention that we do have limited scholarship funds available for anyone who might need them. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. So I guess we will, yes, I'll continue to the next slide. And Heloisa, if you do have anything to say about your experience, feel free to share that in the chat box with us. For those of you who are new to iEARN and have yet to join, we're sharing the link in the chat box in a moment where you can register on the website, on our website to join iEARN. In every country, there's a country coordinator or team that runs the iEARN Center there, and you can find their information on the site, iEARN.org. So it varies from country to country in terms of what membership options are available. If you are in the United States, we have individual and school as well as district memberships. So those are available to you. And if you're looking at a district membership, you can just reach out to us and we'll share what that might look like. But yeah, this is how it works. And we hope you all, if you haven't already, we hope you all do join our amazing global learning community and the iEARN family. So feel free to reach out to us with any questions. If you're thinking about joining or would like to join or just not sure how to go ahead and do that. And we'll move, I think, to, the last slide now. I guess we've reached the conclusion of our webinar, sadly, but we thank you all so much for joining and participating today. It was especially fascinating hearing about your traditions that you celebrate in your own country. And we hope this has been informative and engaging for you. And you've learned a bit more about iEARN and the possibilities open to you as part of the iEARN community. So if you do have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can email us at memberships@us.iern.org. And we look forward to hopefully being in touch with everyone or seeing you in the Collaboration Center and helping you along your iEARN journeys. So thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye. I should just add also, there will be more webinars, of course, happening in the months to come. So we encourage you to keep your eyes open for those. And you can go to the same link that you went to register for this webinar to see the upcoming dates and times and topics, which we'll be updating soon. So keep an eye out for those. And we hope many more people will continue to join us in those webinars that are to come. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.